If you think catamarans cost more to maintain because they have two hulls, I'm going to show you something today that turns that idea upside down. Because the real difference in maintenance cost has nothing to do with how many hulls you have, and everything to do with one overlooked system that almost every beginner forgets to budget for. And I'll tell you exactly what that system is later in this video because it changes the entire catamaran versus monohull debate. Hello guys, my name is Zach. I'm working toward the dream of eventually living aboard full-time on a boat. So everything I learn about boats, I bring straight to you guys on this channel. This is hands down the most interesting topic I've gotten in the last few weeks. And honestly, the maintenance cost kind of surprised even me when I started to look into it. So let's break this down simply, clearly, and in a way that actually helps you choose the right boat. Okay, let's start with the myth. The myth is catamarans cost double to maintain because they have two hulls. That makes sense, but it's wrong. It's just wrong. A hull doesn't cost you anything unless it's damaged. And fiberglass doesn't magically eat money when it sits in the water. The actual difference in cost comes from the systems, the hull outs, the engine hours, the corrosion points, and the labor time. Those 6 things can really make or break it, and it has nothing to do with the hull count. And if you only take one thing away from this video, let it be this: the number of hulls is the least important factor in maintenance. So yes, catamarans usually have 2 engines, 2 sail drives or outboards, 2 rudders. Makes sense, it's a bigger boat. But here's the thing beginners really overlook: you don't service all of that equally. The usage patterns matter more than the existence of the parts. For example, your starboard engine might run 70% of the time, if that's the one you use for docking. Your port engine might barely get used, meaning its maintenance schedule is totally different than the starboard one. So even though a cat has double the parts, it does not always mean double the cost. It might mean more cost, but not double. But cats do have one advantage. I'll talk about that later, that monohulls don't. So stick around for that. Here is where catamarans quietly destroy your budget. Access. Not the parts themselves, just physically researching them. On many cats, you're crawling under beds, inside engine pods, behind bulkheads, through tiny openings. A job that takes 1 hour on a monohull can take 3 hours on a catamaran, simply because you have to twist your body in positions that would make a chiropractor cry. And here's the thing, mechanics won't tell you. They charge you for the time, not the difficulty. So a $300 job on a monohull can become a $900 job on a catamaran with the exact same parts. Now we get into the part most beginners don't know. Monohulls have 1 engine, 1 drive system, 1 set of parts, and usually have great access. But here's where it gets really interesting. Catamarans, 2 engines equals redundancy. 1 fails, you still move. That's huge, but it's also expensive. Here's the typical routine. Oil change, double. Fuel filters, double. Impellers, double. Belts, double. Hours logged, double. You get the point. Most cat owners report around 1.5 times to 1.8 times the maintenance cost of a monohull, not 2 times. But if you never lift a wrench, it can easily jump to 2.5 times easily because of the labor. Okay, here's the system I teased earlier. This is the thing that almost no beginners budget for: your propulsion setup. Not the hulls, not the through hulls, not the engine count, your propulsion type. Changes everything. Twin diesel are common on cats. They're the most reliable and the most expensive to maintain. They require hull outs for sail drives, which means twice the fluids, filters, and zincs. And while single diesel are on most monohulls, they are cheaper, fewer failure points, way easier to service, and fewer hull outs. The outboards, which are similar to most cats and monohulls, are the easiest to maintain, cheap parts, and you can remove the whole engine if needed. The hybrids and electric are quiet, they're clean, their battery lifespan means money, and a lot of it, and it requires specialized technicians. They're harder to fix away from big cities. This is the one system alone that can swing your maintenance costs by thousands of dollars per year, regardless of whether it's a monohull or a catamaran. Hull outs are where catamarans get expensive fast. Monohull hull out, narrow beam, smaller lifts, cheaper stands, simpler blocking, and they're all around smaller. A catamaran hull out requires a wider travel lifts, rare and smaller ports, usually double or triple the price because of the size. A monohull haul out might cost you $800. A catamaran might be $2,000 or $3,000. And that's before the yard even touches your boat. So what's the truth? Here it is, clean and as simple as I can make it. Monohulls are cheaper to maintain, easier to access, fewer systems, and they have cheaper haul outs. They are also more DIY friendly, which is why most beginners go with them. But the catamarans have more parts, more complex systems, more expensive haul outs, higher labor time, but massively better redundancy. And this is the part no one ever says for some reason. A well-maintained catamaran is cheaper than a neglected monohull, and a well-maintained monohull is cheaper than a neglected catamaran. It always comes down to the owner, not the hull shape. If you are choosing between a monohull or a catamaran for your first cruising boat, don't miss the next video. That one might save you thousands of dollars. In the meantime, you guys can either watch this video, which is a video all about discussing the pros and cons of both the monohull and catamaran, and which one I think is really the best for beginners. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And that's all I got. Peace.